I think blondes can be absolutely fabulous. We love creating them in our salon. And I think most American salons know there's a lot of money in blonding because that's a very special, special kind of client. I think blondes feel very blonde in their soul, and I think being blonde is very important to them. And of course, because the palette is so light, you see mistakes in blonde hair. And sometimes we see people who are very, very blonde in the front with absolutely no blonding in the back. And that's the case with Taylor, who happens to be absolutely beautiful. She's naturally light, and she tells me that when she was a little girl, she wasn't a towhead, but she had blonde hair. She's naturally about a level 6 dark blonde ashy, and she's been having partial highlightings here for a long time on about an every 3-month basis. And you see she's very, very blonde in the front. And what happens as well with blonde hair is the blonde in the top of the head and around the face lightens from the elements and from sun exposure. But what can generally happen is we can see a blonde when we view our client from the front or from the side. But when we look around the back, sometimes we see that something really is missing. And when there isn't any blonde in the nape of the head at all, unless the cut or the style is very specific, we can sometimes see a blonde walking toward us and a brunette walking away. This is sort of the case with Taylor. She's got great hair. She's got beautiful hair. It's in wonderful condition. But you see that her highlighting has started in basically the top of the head. But this entire nape has been left completely alone. What I want to do is use Light's powder lightener to add some foiled highlights to give her some blonde in the back. And I don't want to overdo it. I want the hair to look really natural and pretty. But I do want to add some blonde so that if she chooses to wear a braid, or if she wants to change her style, wear her hair up, or even put it in a ponytail, we see some blonde in the back of the head. Additionally, in the front, she's getting a little monochromatic. Her hair's a little light and a little one color. So when I retouch and refresh the highlights with our Light's lightener, I'm going to be adding some very soft mid-blonde lowlights to put just another shade on shade of blonde into her hair. It's just a pet peeve of mine when I see a one color, totally monochromatic blonde. I think the beauty of blonde is shade on shade, pale tones bouncing off one another. And when you're able to do that for your clients, again, it keeps them loving you, it keeps the blonde special, and it keeps the blonde reflecting health and shine. I don't like to over bleach the hair, and I don't apply bleach from roots to ends unless I'm working on virgin hair. When I'm retouching a highlight, I try to restrict my application of lightener to the closer to the scalp of the root of the hair. So let's take a look as we do a sort of corrective dimensional blonding, adding highlights where there are none, giving her some fresh, new, beautiful, icy pieces, and of course adding some shade on shade blonde through the front to make her look really salon special. When you're working on blonde hair like this, it's really important to do a close examination. And as we combed through Taylor's hair, we realized that as we worked from the nape through the back, her highlighting started above where my comb is right now. So all the way through the back, all the way to the back top of her head, she does not have one highlight. This light, beautiful hair on the end is what the sun has done, but she has absolutely no highlighting, and her roots are deep, and they're a little flat. And you can see that we don't want to change her hair drastically. She is naturally blonde, but I would like to add some blonde highlights for interest so that if she wears her hair up or decides to change her style, or when her hair blows in the wind, you see some soft, beautiful highlighting. What I'll be using in the back of Taylor's head is my usual 7" by 14" foil, which when it was folded, I simply cut a crescent into. And when I open it, we're making a piece of foil that I can literally push to the back, it'll fit into the shape of her head. This way I can get very close to the root when I choose to do so. Fold up, fold my bunny ears down, and clip the foil closed. This way I'll be able to do a wide panel up as I migrate left and right throughout the back. Again, I'm not trying to make her look super, super blonde back here, but I am trying to establish a small population of blonde pieces so that the back and the front of the head merge together in a better way and make a better blonde statement. I'm using Light's lightener, the one I love, the dedusted formula with the purple writing on the front. and it's been mixed with 40 volume Veroxide developer. I like to mix my lightener to a loose sour cream consistency. And I'm going to weave each section. Remember, if the hair were sun-drenched, we would be concentrating lots and lots of lightener on the ends. So a lot of people do a highlighting and they get a root area that's lighter than the ends. So make sure you first saturate the ends when doing a virgin application of lightener. And you'll see this foil allows me to get, because I've cut into it with a little notch, this is my little invention, and I'm crazy about it. I started thinking about this one day when I wanted to say, how can I do something different with foil and help colorists get close to the scalp? So here we go. We've painted on our lightener. We fold up. We fold the bunny ears down. And as you know, Beth Minardi always likes to clip foil on one side. If you're left-handed, you're going to clip on the left. If you're right-handed, you'll probably want to clip the foil on the right side. Let's work straight above ourselves and place another highlight. Let's slice this one. We're going to be toward the right side of the head this time. Again, the foil slides right up, and because I have that little notch cut into it, this is great, and I think beginning colorists will especially appreciate working with foil that has, the head isn't a flat line, so the foil doesn't need to be a flat line. Again, folding up, bunny ears down, and a clip. Let's go on to the next slice. And this time let's take it from the left side of the head, weaving as we work up, taking the notched piece of foil and applying our Verolights formula. Again, make sure to saturate all the way through to the ends. Folding up, and the bunny ears down. Not every single foil has to go all the way down to the root. If she were sun-drenched, some of the foils would be more exposure to the sun on the ends. So be the judge and don't make every single foil the same. Let's do this highlight a little bit away from the root. Don't paint a straight line. You'll see that I'm making the way the sun would kiss the hair in a jagged, more impressionistic fashion. When you're using lightener, make sure you don't allow the product to get too thick or too dry. If you need to stop and add some more developer as you work, go ahead and do so. Just add a little, 1/4 ounce at a time. And what I like to do sometimes is stop and stir my lightener formula, because what it does is keeps everything creamy. When lighteners dry, they tend to slow down, and if you keep the lightener well mixed and moist, you'll have a very, very easy time working with professional lighteners like Joico Verolights. And we're nearing the end of this section. As soon as I finish wrapping the back, we'll go on to the front. Here's Taylor with the complete back of the head wrapped up to give her some soft highlighting. Again, this is not done to make her too blonde in the back, but to give a balance to both the back and the front of this beautiful blonde hair. Now that we've finished wrapping the back of Taylor's head, we're going to continue our blonding service. You see that she was highlighted about 5 weeks ago at her salon, and she looks wonderful. There's still some dimension, but as we move through the hair shaft, we see that she's almost a little monochromatic toward these faded ends. I'm going to be placing a little blonde on blonde here and retouching her highlights. I'll be using the Verolights lightener to create a beautiful soft highlighting retouch, and I'll be low lighting her hair with Veropack Chrome color. I'll be using 1.5 ounces of G9 and 1/2 ounce of B6, which I love. So if you're taking notes and you want to create great lowlights for blonde, remember that 1.5 ounces of G9, 1/2 ounce of B6. It's a winner for most all of your blonde clients who don't want to go darker, but who want some dimension put into the hair shaft. I'm going to be working on an angle, And I'm going to weave my highlights in a tiny fashion so that I don't get a stripy effect around her face. And because some of these ends have been previously highlighted, I'm going to leave them out of the bleach formula. People say to me, how do you know what to do? Look at the strand and see what the strand needs. You might say the hair here needs more light, the hair here needs more depth. You have to keep asking yourself the questions as you move up the head. The hair will, after you do this for a while, the hair will sort of speak to you a little bit and tell you what it needs. When you look at it, you'll say, this could use a little more personality. I see that she's a little faded back here. Let's cut that in half and low light this section with our chrome color. Vero K-Pack chrome color is both opaque enough and acetic to keep the hair in great shape and to also create a long-lasting low light in the hair. When I'm working near a face, I always weave the hair. When I'm working further back, you can slice, skip, slice, or do slices depending on how thick, coarse, or dense the hair is. The finer the hair, the more weaving you're going to do. You'll never make a mistake when you weave, but the hair might be almost imperceivably changed if the hair is very, very thick. And I try never to put a low light right on the skin around the face, even if it's 1/8 of an inch back off the face. No client likes to see a deeper tone unless we're working on a very specific fashion look. But for my blondes, I like to keep them nice and bright around the face. Not all highlights need to go down exactly to the scalp. Some can drift slightly away to look as though the client had been to the beach or walking in the sun. So not every highlight has to go down to the scalp, except the ones dead on right at the forehead and right around the face. A retouch on the highlight. And now we're ready to move on to the other side of the head. Remember, part of your success comes with the product you use. And Joico makes magnificent products for hair coloring. And a retouch of the highlight right here on the part line. An adjacent low light. Foil to foil. Tiny highlight retouch in the center. And And we are finished with the second side. When these have processed, we'll take them down, shampoo and condition, and you'll see her back looking really great.